Alright, so once again, this should look familiar. We're just in our playground. We have our opening code. Very simple. Now, in the previous video, there was something that we didn't do, something that we normally do at the very start of pretty much any language, and that would be hello world. Now, you might be saying, but it's right here. Why are we doing it again? Sure, the word is different, but it's here. Yes and no. I mean, yeah, we got hello playground, it says hello playground, but this is not like a print command or a console command. This is creating a variable that is stored in the program, and nothing happens with it unless we actually tell it to do something with it. So nothing is happening with it. This would go nowhere, not to the console, not to a screen, nowhere. So for a proper hello world, or hello playground if you want, we should be doing prints ln for line, and then in parentheses, in quotation marks, hello world, or hello playground if you prefer, close quotation marks and close the parentheses, and now we actually have a hello world type program. Now we had that variable in there. We could keep this and we could incorporate that into hello world, so we could do like print ln, and then we have our parentheses, and inside of the parentheses we could do the str, and there we actually are printing the line of whatever is in that variable, which is the hello playground. So we could do it that way as well. We could incorporate what was already there. So now we have a hello world. Now we can do something else with this too. We don't have to be satisfied with that. We can go up here if we want to new project. Now I know we were just doing the playground and we're going to kind of stick with the playground a good amount, but it's okay to play with the projects a little bit too. So project looks a little bit different. It's a little bit more overwhelming. So we're just going to keep things simple. Let's just stick with iOS because it's the default. Let's stick with single view because it's the default. Let's do next. Alright, so product name, what do you want it to be called? I'm going to do Hello World since that's what this is, a Hello World. Organization name, that could be your employer, that could be if you own your own company, that could be your name. You could make something up like Crazy Tacos or Unicorn Enterprise or whatever, like, it doesn't matter. Well, I mean, unless you're actually doing it for a corporation, then it might matter. Organization identifier. So this is sort of like a URL, sort of, but backwards. So instead of like kittens with saddles.com, it would instead be like com.kittens with saddles, right? Now language right now it says Objective-C, but we want to use Swift. Devices, you can do iPad, iPhone, or Universal. Universal, of course, means both. You might be saying, well, what about OS X? What about the MacBook or the iMac? Well, when we made the project earlier, we said that it was for iOS, not OS X, so that's why those options aren't here. I think it's a little bit easier just to start with one mode, so we'll just switch to iPhone. Alright, so we're going to do next. It's going to ask where I want to save it to. I'm just going to stick with the desktop because I've been using that so far. Once you have things load up, you'll see lots of stuff. We're going to keep it pretty simple for right now. So I know this looks pretty intense, but it's not too bad. It's really not too bad. Now, right here we have the bundle identifier, so you can see the com.kittens with saddles, and you can see the hello world. So yeah, so there's some of that is. There's some stuff down here. None of this really matters right now. I mean, it's all important, but don't worry about it right now. Just leave it alone. For right now, two things. So up here we have different mobile devices that you can choose to simulate your app on, and here you can actually tell it that you want to see the app run. Now we haven't done anything, so this is not going to be exciting, but just so you can see the little pop-up. Oh, alright, there we go. Ah, it finally loaded. That took a while. Anyways, it's here. Now it's pretty big. Whoa, you just calm down. Go back to Hello World. Windows. We can shrink this down if it's too big, and it's definitely too big for me right now. There we go. So you can see the simulator. You can see there's actually nothing in it because we haven't done anything. So you saw originally down here my brand name and the name of the application itself, but now that the app is running, there is nothing here. That's fine. Now to get out of this, notice there's no red dot or anything, so we just actually go over to Xcode. Oh, that's okay. Well, if it breaks, then I just go to iOS Simulator and press quit there. But normally what you would do is, assuming that the connection doesn't break, there we go. You would essentially just tell it to stop over here, and that will close it. And so it's closed. I mean, the simulator is still up, but the app itself is closed. And you can quit this if you want. You can always reopen it. Now, one other thing that we're going to do real fast, not real complicated, not a real big deal, is we're going to go into the view controller. So you just click on that one time, not twice. If you do it twice, you'll get a pop-up like so, and that's not what we want right now. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm actually going to go ahead and put it inside of this function, so when this function runs, it's going to go ahead and run this as well, because that'll just be simpler for right now. So print line, and I'm sure you can guess what I'm going to write here. Hello world, of course, and close that, and there we go. And the little angry mark went away, so we know that the code is fine. Well, at least not terrible. So we'll go ahead and do build and run, and we can see what happens. Alright, so you might be thinking that nothing is happening, but that's not true. If I move this over on the all output, you can see that we have hello world. Maybe it didn't show up here, but it worked. It's sort of like your console.log command from like JavaScript or you know, some of those types of things. So there we go. You have a blank app that has a little bit of output, and we also did that same hello world in the playgrounds. There's still a lot here that I didn't even mention. I know, it's alright, but at least you're able to do something, and that's a start.